you lost it.
4th of April 2014, Patrick Cullinane and Paul Talbot-Jenkins here in London. This is the first day of the anniversary of the death of Martin Luther King. And this is the beginning of a movement now, the truth movement, to people taking over the planet. And we're just talking about the politicians who have assumed our public service on our behalf, and what we are suggesting that they are embezzling public money, something to the tune of £720 billion last year. And there is a private prosecution in the Westminster Magistrates Court to get that hold of that money. At the same time, we've got various grand juries coming to the UK. We've got volunteers, administrators. We've got the National Liberty Alliance movement in America that's going to assist us in setting up the grand juries, and that will involve 4 administrators in each borough for each court, who will be able to look at a problem and solve the problem. If they can't solve the problem, they will put it to a pool of 25 jurists sitting in private, and if they can't solve it, they'll put it to a trial jury, who will then sit in public, and there'll be witnesses and cross-examination, etc. But most problems should be able to be solved by the administrators. And once we have a just system of justice in this country, the problems, because there will be courts of records, there will be recordings, then the precedences will be set, and then we don't have to repeat the proceedings in the same matters each time. So none of this would happen. Nobody would be made homeless. It's actually criminal to make people homeless. It's criminal to have children removed from families.
The Jews want our properties.
Well,
this is what's going on. There's organised crime.
Well, we're all victims. All religions and all countries are victim to the embezzlement of public money.
How did the Jews take over all the positions of the top judges?
Well, it's a case of putting them in the front line, and they all get shot in the back. They do all get shot in the back.
Well, I hope so.
They all do.
I hope so. They need to be put before a firing squad.
The definition of a court of record is any court that can issue a fine or a punishment in jail. All courts in this country are courts of record, which means that they're common law courts, and common law courts and courts of record must have a jury.
Right, right.
So any court that's only a judge in chambers, all those jurisdictions, all those judgments are invalid.
Every one of them.
And as it happens, Magna Carta has a clause in it, clause 63, which says that anything in that charter is there forever, cannot be taken away. Cannot be taken away.
So the Jewish judges have taken it out?
In 1969-70, they repealed Magna Carta, which was an illegal act, which means that we have had no legal government since 1970 in Britain. No legal government whatsoever. So any act of Parliament, any bill passed, is null and void. All our membership of the European Union is null and void. The whole lot's null and void. Any court judgment since 1970 is null and void. The whole lot.
They want us to go to Europe to get justice, because there's no justice in Europe. But they want us to get off of their back. It's all planned meticulously by corrupt judges. You got, as I said, you got Jack Straw, you got Lord Faulkner, and they will not investigate this case. And they know that it was Jewish judges that robbed me. 13 of them. And they're all at the highest position in the UK. So that nobody can get in and stop this.
Well, we're going to have this God, Sky, Earth money coming in. You know, we've got a lot of prosperity funds coming our way to set up this, and we've got the public money now. We're going to take hold of it, Patrick. The private prosecution is going to be dealt with by a grand jury.
Yeah, but you see, you got the police, and they're actually corrupted by the Freemasons, and they've allowed the police to become it's promoted. that they actually become Freemasons, or otherwise you will not be a police officer. So they take them in and they're selected through that. Right, if I went in as a police officer, I would not become a Freemason. But
Well,
they're not going to have me.
They're not going to have you. So, but a lot of the people who are on the inside are waking up and they're becoming whistleblowers. And we've got, various movements in the UK. We've got the British Constitution Group, we've got UK Column, we've got all the paedophilia groups, truth movements. We've got the Farrell Report on 7/7. We've got Charlie 7. We've got individuals who know what's really gone on, and we're all coming together.
And we got Charlie 7, who is doing magnificent work, even though she's a big victim, being targeted. They're trying to discredit her, Mark Windows, and it's on and on and on. And this is what they try and do.
They're not going to succeed now, Patrick. That's for sure. Okay. Mark Windows has been libeling various people, talking absolute nonsense.
He should be arrested.
He says that 7 is a ludicrous name to have. Now that is her name, right?
Right.
If you've got a name called 7, that is a fact. It's not an opinion. Whatever he thinks of somebody's name doesn't mean that name isn't there. And I mean that's ridiculous, right? It's not even logical.
But he's working for the people at the top who are corrupt.
Well, they're now not going anywhere, are they? Because if you get libel action coming at you from various sources, you're not going to survive.
I want to take an action against Lord Neuenberger. I want to take an action against Jack Straw. I want to take an action against Lord Faulkner and all of these judges that destroyed my life, and that should be my right.
Well, you're going to get your compensation, that's for sure, Patrick.
But I want to see these in jail.
You're going to get your home back, not the same house, perhaps a better house, You're entitled to live your life as if none of this ever happened.
Well, of course.
Okay?
You can't turn back the clock, that's the problem.
Well, no, but life is a way of compensating.
I have never met my full potential.
Properly compensated, because the grand jury, the people will know the facts of what's been done to you. And of course, you've helped so many people as well. You've got to be compensated as well. You provided a public service to so many hundreds of thousands of people.
For nothing, no money.
For no money.
And the Jews
you,
that are corrupt are getting the money.
But Patrick,
when they should have nothing.
You're bringing all these people out of their misery. You're a great man. There's going to be a Lord Cullinane, right? Lord Cullinane.
Well, no, because there's only one Lord, and that's my Lord, right? I don't want to. They should not be called Lord neither.
Or Saint Cullinane.
Right? They're taking the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
There's already a St. Patrick.
Right? So this is it. I mean to say, this is a man here, Paul Talbot-Jenkins. He has helped an awful lot of people. He's had to buy a bus that's after costing him £40,000 to come out and demonstrate. They've denied him justice, and he's tried to help other people. But we've got no power, because all of the Jewish judges are inside where we want to take actions inside in the courts. But we're not going to get no relief from these people. This is what you're going to get. They're going to rob you.
We're going to get our relief. We get our relief, that's for sure.
A barrister came and talked to me at Trafalgar Square, and he said, "What's all this about?" And I said, "Corrupt banks, corrupt judges, corrupt politicians, corrupt police." He said, "Well, what do you mean a corrupt judge?" I said, "Well, what?" He said, "What proof have you got of a corrupt judge?" I said, "I was in the court in Thomas More Building at a morning briefing given by Edward Evans Long, now Sir Edward Evans Long. After the briefing, he said, "Is anybody going to got questions?" A lady barrister just in front of me stood up, and she said, "Yes, sir." She said, "I was up before you yesterday with my client. All the evidence, every bit of evidence, was on my client's favour. Why did you give the judgment to the other side?" He stretched out his hand as if patting her on the head and said, "Yes, yes, my dear, but you have to realise it was his turn to have a win."
He flipped a coin, did he?
It was the other barrister's turn to have a win, you see. He said, next time when you come up before me, remind me. And he said, I'll see that you get it.
The counterclaim then.
Now there's another scam that they've actually built into this, right? And that's what they say, that we will not comment on individual cases. So they frame me up and it's an individual case. So they can frame up Paul Talbot-Jenkins and it's an individual case. And this is what they're actually doing. They're framing up everyone. But they then tell you, oh, we don't have to comment on individual cases. Now, I'm a caseworker, so I've actually put in cases at 20 at a time into it. And they still will not look at them. Philip Inman of The Guardian has actually put in cases into Margaret Hodge, right? Another Jew. And nothing. And she's also getting taxpayers' money.
Well, this country seems to have had immigration of Jews, and then the Asians, and then blacks first. And, Asian people came almost last, and everyone who comes to this country gets abused. So it's not just, Irish that get abused, it's
But should I can see that it's all around me.
It's just that because Jews came before us, they got the positions. Now you're going to see the Asians getting the same positions because,
You won't see them getting the same positions because the Jews will make sure that they won't.
Well,
that's why they're promoted to all the top positions.
They've all gone to Israel now, Patrick. The Jews have gone to Israel, right? Millions of them have gone back.
Lord Justice, so-called Justice Nineberger.
So now the Asians are coming.
Is
now
the President of the Supreme Court.
They're going to get put in the front line and they're going to get shot in the back. That's all that's going to happen now. And the next victim. The thing is, this process is now going to stop because we're now in the golden age, right? The dark age is gone and now we've got the lights shining. We're the lights shining brightly from the dark age, and we're the future. We're the future of the golden age. That's what we are.
Right.
And we're going to bring everybody to this point that we're at, the awareness point, where we know the truth and we know how to fix it. We know the corruption. We know why the corruption took place. Because these people...
I was saying this 20 years ago.
These people are programmed. They are under threat of death and blackmail. They don't want to do what they're doing.
I could see the solicitors, I could see the judges, I could see the police. They were all corrupted.
They don't want to do that anymore.
And
because they're waking up and they want to do it right. They want to be with us. Now we've got to allow them to be with us. We've got to allow them to fix it with us. Right?
And it's
we know how to fix it. And we're going to let them fix it, Patrick, because they're already in that position to fix it. Every one of us has witnessed at their hands their wrongdoing, and it's on them, we're going to give them that opportunity to fix it, aren't we? Because we're going to
I can't see them fixing it.
We're going to go into court and we're going to tell them how we want it, right? Because we are sovereign beings. It's up to us. If we're not happy, that person should not be in a public service. It's simple as that. They are going to be removed from public service straight away.
Immediately.
Then,
they've got to be removed immediately.
A citizen's arrest, which I've exercised on Lord Justice Kitchen on the 3rd of July 2013 in the Court of Appeal because he refused my sister an appeal to her personal injury claim. And there was evidence that there was documents of her injuries were concealed from the judge in the lower court at the Central London County Court. And there is a particular judge there, Judge David Charles Mitchell, who controls the 18 county courts of London. And nobody wins in their personal injury claims. All the money goes to the banks and the insurance companies and the solicitors. So there's going to be a shutdown of all corrupt justice in this country by us, and a list of all the judges who've done you wrong, done me wrong, is going to be put to a grand jury, and they're going to be removed from public office on the basis of how many complaints have been made against them.